各位觀眾午安，多謝大家今日嚟參與我哋嘅呢個 Aviation 嘅一個 talk 啦。咁今日我哋主要就會分兩 part 嘅。咁第一 part 就會主要係講 Aviation Big Data 啦。咁第二 part 就會係ICAO Aviation English 嘅。咁首先我哋就會邀請到Mr. Fong 去為我哋講解一下 Aviation Big Data 嘅。
Hi, I'm Dr. Ke Jinghao, and I'm excited to introduce to you the Postgraduate Certificate in Aviation and Big Data Applications. This program has been extensively developed with HKU Space. We have entered into the age of data and artificial intelligence, or in short, AI. Global research and companies have seen and predict that AI will play an important role in our economy and industries. Across all industries, for example, McKinsey has said that AI could boost global GDP by up to $15.7 trillion by 2030. Forrester Research has said that businesses could save up to $262 billion annually by automating routine tasks with AI. And most importantly, World Economic Forum Hi, I'm Dr. Ke Jinghao, and I'm excited to introduce to you the Postgraduate Certificate in Aviation and Big Data Applications. This program has been extensively developed with HKU Space. We have entered into the age of data and artificial intelligence, or in short, AI. Global research and companies have seen and predict that AI will play an important role in our economy and industries. Across all industries, for example, McKinsey has said that AI could boost global GDP by up to $15.7 trillion by 2030. Forrester Research has said that businesses could save up to $262 billion annually by automating routine tasks with AI. And most importantly, World Economic Forum estimates that AI will create 97 million new jobs globally. Now, we come to the aviation industry. The impact of AI on this industry, it is significant as well. It can help to optimize operations all along the value chain, such as predictive maintenance, fuel management, and customer service enhancements. For example, airlines are already using data and AI to predict maintenance needs, reducing downtime and increasing safety. AI is also used to optimize flight paths in real time to save fuel and to reduce delays. Because of this, we see a great need to upskill professionals to understand AI and its applications. If you are considering a career in aviation, or already working in this industry, or even just an individual interested in understanding more about data, analytics, and AI, then this program will be suitable for you. Participants in this program can learn directly from industry experts in the aviation space and also AI field. You can benefit from the wealth of experience of our curriculum development and instructor team. Get updated on the latest development of AI in the aviation industry, and also go through the training with professional and academic rigor with HKU Space. Our program prepares you to be at the forefront of changes in AI and the aviation industry, so that you come out equipped with the skills to leverage on new technologies effectively. This will help you to open up various career paths within the aviation industry, including roles like data science, operations management, and strategic development. Such roles contribute to making tangible improvements in efficiency and safety for the industry. At Integrum, we have international offices all over Asia, including Hong Kong. We have consulted, trained, designed, and deployed AI since 2012 for SMEs, multinational companies, and government bodies. Our team are also training experts, instructing in universities like Singapore Management University, King Mongkut University in Thailand, and HKU. Now, let's look at the program. It is conducted over 6 months with 3 modules and over 100 contact hours. When you graduate from the program, you should be able to 1. Evaluate AI and its applications in aviation. 2. Formulate AI business strategy. 3. Apply AI concepts and what you learn in aviation and the tools in aviation to solve business problems in the space. And 4, finally, analyze the causes for success or failure for projects in the industry. Now, for the first module will cover statistics, predictive analytics, and the use of various data visualization tools. For instance, we can see how statistics and predictive analytics will help in understanding flight data to optimize routes and schedules and to predict delays. Module 2 will discuss the integration of big data technologies in daily aviation operations. This could include the use of AI in simulation training, data management systems for real-time decision-making, and the strategic application of IoT in monitoring aircraft health. The last module will discuss the application of analytical skills to strategic planning. For example, we will cover case studies where airlines successfully implement big data strategies to enhance operational efficiency and customer satisfaction. I hope you have found this interesting. To find out more, please visit our course page at HKU Space or ask for a program when contacting HKU Space. Our program is the Postgraduate Certificate in Aviation and Big Data Applications. Thank you. Welcome to our detailed exploration of the Postgraduate Certificate in Aviation and Big Data Applications at HKU Space. Today, we are going deeper into the curriculum and address some frequently asked questions about the skills and career opportunities the program provides. Let's break down what each module of the program entails in greater detail. Module 1. Data Science and Analytics Basics. This is where your journey begins. Our objective here is to equip you with foundational data science skills with an emphasis on applications in aviation. You will start with the fundamentals of data analysis using spreadsheets and Python, learning the ABCs of data science. Python will be used to clean and process data effectively, with a focus on practical uses in aviation such as performance metrics and operational efficiencies. Next, we'll come to understand the types of data, including structured versus unstructured, types of quantitative and categorical data, cross-sectional, time series versus panel forms of data. Examples like flight data to customer feedback will be discussed. After that, we'll go into descriptive and inferential statistics, which is essential for analyzing trends and finding important factors that affect aviation operations. We will use exploratory data analysis, or EDA, to summarize the main patterns of the data, visualize it to uncover trends, spot anomalies, and test hypotheses. Through all these, we'll pick up the fundamental theories that power machine learning and AI models. We will use case studies to demonstrate how data, analytics, and AI is used in practice. For example, how are flight routes optimized, and how do we use data to improve passenger experience? In Module 2, Data Technology in Aviation Operations, we will dive into advanced data analytics techniques and their practical applications in aviation. You will explore the architecture of real-time data processing systems and how they are used in monitoring and optimizing flight operations. This includes studying data collection and IoT implementations in aircraft maintenance, for predictive repairs, and AI applications for flight tracking and management. After collecting this data, we will discuss how are they stored and processed on the cloud, especially when the amount and speed of data is large, and scalability and security is important. Next, we'll move into machine learning, where you will learn about supervised machine learning, including regression and classification models for applications including predicting flight delays or identifying potential maintenance issues. We will also learn about unsupervised machine learning, including techniques like clustering, which we can use for segmenting passengers for better service or flights for operational purposes. We will also learn techniques like dimension reduction that help us simplify complex data sets to improve analysis. Important applications in deep learning will be covered as well, including natural language applications like conversational chatbots and large language models, and computer vision applications for image or video recognition. Lastly, in this module, we will explore security and data issues and compliance to global standards and regulations. The final module, Data-Driven Strategic Decision-Making, rounds up your training with a focus on applying your analytical skills to strategic business decisions. You will learn about strategic analysis frameworks like SWOT and PESTER in a data-driven context to evaluate project viability and operational adjustments. You will also learn about the AI Project Canvas that allows us to unlock and communicate the value of an AI project. Optimization models will be covered as well to help make data-informed decisions on resource allocation, scheduling, and logistics. We will also explore digital transformation frameworks and processes to integrate digital technologies into traditional aviation business models. These include design and agile thinking, change management strategies to manage organization change driven by transformation, focusing on stakeholder engagement and adoption techniques. Finally, we'll go through real-world case studies and simulation to apply strategic decision-making in safe and controlled environments. Now, let's address some common questions about the program. First, do I need to be well-versed in programming before attending the course? Please do not worry. This course is designed for complete beginners in programming. We will go through the basics and ABCs of Python, which is the programming language for data science. Second, are there opportunities for hands-on projects during the course? Absolutely. The program includes case simulations and real data projects that allow you to apply what you have learned in practical real-world settings within the aviation industry. Third, how does this program prepare me for leadership roles? Beyond technical skills, this program emphasizes on strategic thinking and decision-making, preparing you to lead projects and teams by making informed, data-backed decisions. You may wonder, can these skills be used outside of the aviation industry? Absolutely. The skills you learn here are in high demand across multiple sectors. For example, in healthcare, predictive analytics can enhance patient care by predicting outcomes based on historical data. Another example, in property facilities management, we can use optimization models to make routing logistics more efficient. Next question, what are the job opportunities after I've completed the course? Graduates of this program can look forward to roles such as data analysts in logistics, AI specialists in tech firms, operations or research analysts in major corporations, where they optimize wide-ranging processes. These can be in aviation industry or in other industries. The last question here, is there funding support for this program? Yes, this program can be reimbursed via the Continuing Education Fund, or CEF in short. Find out more by contacting our admissions teams at HQ Space. Are you ready to elevate your career with cutting-edge skills in big data and AI? Visit our website for more details or contact our admissions teams today to learn how you can become part of this transformative program. Thank you for taking the time to explore the postgraduate certificate in aviation and big data applications with us. We look forward to helping you achieve your professional goals with HQ Space. Thank you.
多謝 Mr. Fong 嘅分享啦，關於 Aviation Big Data。咁嚟緊咧，我哋就會邀請到 Captain Adrian 為我哋介紹下 ICAO Aviation English 嘅。
Good day, everyone. My name is Captain Adrian Teo. I am presenting for aviation industry upskilling skills through ICAO Aviation English. I will be running with my team together with Ms. Rachel Schieff, who will be taking care of this program that is currently in development for various industry vocations within the aviation industry. This will be a Hong Kong Youth Space program that is going to be developed in coordination with the Aviation Studies Department, and it will be targeted to be able to use CEF and METF funds to be able to offset some of the training cost. Without further ado, I'll just go into the program and what it actually entails and give you a little bit of a background as well as why this program has been designed to be a new and improved version of ICAO English teaching in Hong Kong. As mentioned, myself as well as Ms. Rachel Schieff, we are CEOs of these companies that are currently providing the expert services to Hong Kong Youth Space, and this is going to be a program that is going to be made available for Hong Kong students as well as in-industry personnel as well as foreign candidates who are looking to take part in the online version of this program. I'd like to start with just giving a little bit of a background as to what our current state of the aviation industry is post-COVID. And essentially, if you look at the 4 key points that we talk about, we all understood that COVID had a massive impact onto the aviation industry, especially in Hong Kong. And from this recovery from pandemic disruptions, travel demand has increased. And however, all these flights and routes are currently being added as time went by. Naturally, there were a lot of disruptions that resulted in a lot of staff loss, early redundancies and retirements from pilots all the way across to ground staff. So this in itself would be one of the challenges, as you can see from the bottom when they talk about hiring and training new staff. It does take a significantly long time to not only hire pilots, flight attendants, and all the ground staff, and all the training will take some significant time as well. And this coupled with the fact that you are now trying to raise the tempo of flying and the operations around the airport environment would naturally lead to the next point on focus on health and safety. Post-pandemic, naturally, the health protocols are now in place with a lot more requirements for ensuring hygiene, cleaning protocols, as well as contactless procedures. Safety in itself, we are talking about all around the operations, from flight safety to ground safety, in fact, even for passenger handling safety, so on. All these by itself would naturally require a big change in the way things have been during the COVID period to the non-COVID period. As we probably realize as well that now there's a lot more investments into technology, and those who are within Hong Kong knows that the Hong Kong airport itself is in itself going through a transformation. There is a growth in the airport environment to the third runway, as well as new terminals being built at present. We will be looking towards seeing a lot more transformation with technology. And in this, the nature of the staff that will be hired for such jobs will also see some changes in the way the jobs have been adjusted, especially within the ground working environment. As for pilots, cabin crew, and engineers, the nature of work has been very much similar to what it was before. However, the tempo is increasing, which means that there is a need, as we have seen in this program that we are starting up, where communication skills and the common language used in the airport environment, such as English, becomes significantly a lot more important in the nature at which we are using the language. Okay. As mentioned in the summary at the bottom, while facing some of the challenges, the aviation industry is definitely recovering very well, and the hiring process is also increasing. And this is an area where if you are a fresh graduate or you are in between decisions on a vocational change from your previous job, that you want to look towards something that has a lot more mileage, a lot more future potential, then the aviation industry is definitely one that is on an upwards trajectory. It is going to show a lot more positivity in terms of job security and so on. So this is something for you to consider. To go into the aviation English program design, as before, a lot of aviation English programs are designed around the ICAO Aviation English and centered a lot around the pilot and air traffic community. However, now we do understand that it is an ecosystem that you will be coexisting in within an airport and airline environment. It goes beyond just the pilots and air traffickers that we find that the language skills is really required. The language tools here, we talk about providing aviation English learning tools. The vocabulary builders are very critical for your different jobs that you are in. Pronunciation practice is mainly for ease of understanding, especially if you have accents and you're working with people with different nationalities. So pronunciation as close as possible prevents confusion. And of course, where we put in scenario-based dialogue interactions, right, between speakers and listeners. And a lot of times it's not face-to-face, and that will become a type of practice that we'll be doing. What we'll be employing is using the ICAO Aviation English competencies, which are looking at, as mentioned, vocabulary. You're talking about your fluency. You'll be talking about interactions. You'll also be talking about sentence structures, comprehension of what you actually hear, and so on and so forth. So in all these, one of the key areas that we would like to talk about is to use them in the various scenarios that are significantly applicable to your space. So for example, for technicians all the way to your cabin crew, and for ground handling staff, and from pilots as well. There will be a slide that I will show the interdependency between all of us and give a little bit more explanation on that. For scenario-based training, we are using a lot of scenario-based training for classroom activity, as is not very much a lecture-based training. There will be a lot of opportunity for you to break out of your mold, the shyness and the lack of confidence in using the language, and to create the scenarios for you to practice commonly used phrases, words, and terms to help you get the information you want or transmit the information you want to the people that are getting the information from you. That way, it will create a much, much better environment for things to prevent miscommunication and better comprehension of the situation that's happening. Okay, these tend to be more real life type scenarios that have actually happened or goes on or you expect to see in your workplace. So this will cover very routine, normal type situations and leading on to non-routine, abnormal type situations like emergencies and so on. Okay. Lastly, we have embedded within the training itself a mindset transformation that is literally where Ms. Rachel Schieff has been developing into. She is a transformational coach as well as a mindset coach that will cultivate the mindset and the awareness that we build around the people that we work with, the nature of their job, as well as to enhance the state at which you are more self-aware, where your strengths and weaknesses are, and to apply strategies to help you use those strategies to make your job easier. Use the language that you've developed to create a less complicated and stressful environment that you have to work in. Okay. For the program objectives, the program is looking to start with measuring your baseline English level, right? So when you come in, not everyone is at the same stage. Therefore, we'll be able to now customize a little bit more of ensuring that the strong and weak speakers or the different levels you're at is catered for accordingly, right? So we benchmark you for that. Thereafter, the soft skills we've talked about, and then we aim towards achieving the learning outcomes through our practice and exercises across the number of hours that we are targeting. At present, we're looking to go for 54 hours, so looking at 18 type sessions, of which there will be spread out into a syllabus development, taking into consideration some mock testing, as well as a scenario-based testing, so on and so forth. Okay. All right, as we've touched upon, aviation English for career success, well, we've roughly spread them out as examples, right? So airplane pilots in controls, talking to air traffic, that's one of them. That is a known factor. And we do know that even at the expert level, there has been incidents and situations that have led to miscommunications, difficult situations at airports that are in foreign countries with different accents and style of talking. And we have flight attendants actually working with passengers, communication language to type of events that may happen in the cabin, like an unruly passenger or passenger misbehaving, or with a medical situation or emergency type observations. And that not only talks about them serving passengers in terms of customer service language, but also being able to communicate to the pilots about what's actually happening. That's in the air, but however, on the ground, they will also be having to communicate with the engineers if things are not working or broken, and how they actually need to be able to report such situations are actually a skill set the cabin crew should come and be able to get an idea of what is going on. For the aircraft mechanics and technicians, working on the aircraft while supporting aircraft operations also requires a proficiency of the language to handle the aircraft as it is being prepared for the flight, as it's being prepared for departure, or receiving the aircraft on an arrival. So there will be incidences where you report observations of what you saw and what has happened and things like that. And that is one of those areas where the use of the right vocabulary as well as the right description prevents miscommunication. And last but not least, we also want to cover the ground handling agents. I'm just using ramp agents and luggage loading as an example, but really that also includes the passenger handling, also talk about the people who will be around with the cargo loading. So there are a lot of ground operations that involved that requires communication flow, moving vehicles around the airplane and ensuring safety, especially it's a very loud, noisy day and night, raining with lightning, no lightning, is a very, very, challenging environment if the situations are not like your normal clear day. So being able to communicate everything you see and any observations that's not normal is a very, very good skill set to have. As I mentioned, the complications associated with that would be misunderstandings, incorrect readbacks, coordination issues, and miscommunication. So these are all very, very common and happens even in the best days and best situations. And whilst most things in a regular life may not result in an accident or loss of life, in an airline or airport environment, the threat and danger is a lot higher if you have any of these issues happening and not being caught early and to improve it. That is crucial for our flight and ground safety. So one thing I want to bring everyone's attention to is the interdependent relationship, right? So whilst we say the common denominator here is communication, and in aviation, English is the key language or the main basis of the language of communication. Whilst we cannot see each other immediately in all situations face to face, a lot of times it's through a radio transmission or through a comm set and so on. Proper use of terminologies, vocabulary, phraseology, and how we were to describe an incident is very, very critical. As you can see, right in the middle, ground handling is attached to everyone, right? There is a big element of codependency and information flow between ground handling agents and everyone else in the environment. Air traffic will have to work with ground handling and technicians to clear them to be able to drive their vehicles around the airport, to approach the vehicles, tow aircraft, or move the cargo, and so on and so forth. So air traffic also deals with the pilots naturally for the aircraft ground operations to flight departure and arrivals. Okay. I have below the pilots and emergency services, why I put them together. Emergency services also have to work with everyone, just like pilots have, if you can see here. They are talking about the fire services, you're talking about the medical services, and even the police, and so on and so forth, because every one of those incidents that have an emergency or accident will require a coordination with everyone in there, right? For the cabin crew and technicians, they predominantly work mainly. Cabin crew doesn't talk to the ATC, but talks to everybody else. And they are mainly handling, like we mentioned, passenger-specific issues or within the cabin. Inside of the cabin, anything they notice, emergency-related or abnormal, that's when they will assist. With the emergency services in an evacuation type situation, when people are jumping off the slides and they are coordinating passenger safety as they leave the aircraft and so on and so forth, will require them to have communication skills with the emergency staff on the ground. Okay. In the ground operations training module that we will cover, we will give a much better understanding for all people that are in the interdependency loop, as you saw earlier. It's about ground maneuvers, what actually happens. A lot of times, only pilots and air traffic tend to know. Everybody only learns their part. I think this is also very good for anyone who wants to become a cabin crew or in that role, who have just started, who wants to understand it, the terminology and vocabulary to describe it, especially into areas like airport familiarization, how we describe each thing or signage or board or something that you see. And last but not least, ramp safety on the apron, on the ramp, where aircraft are parked and a lot of moving people and vehicles and equipment, to recognize what they are, their roles, what they are able to cause in terms of dangers that they could result from, and so on. This training will ensure that all pilots and crew on air and ground can operate safely and efficiently with language. We will definitely go into non-normal operations training. Non-normal means meaning that everything is out of the ordinary. They include emergency and medical type scenarios, right? So engine failure fire drills are very, very key and tends to be the biggest issues that tend to happen that will be causing a lot of coordination and communication naturally, as you probably understand. We will also cover how communications go within the cockpit for pilots, what they actually go through, what they actually have to say, the drills they have to do, coordination with air traffic, choice of airport to go to, and when they're on the ground, what actually happens, okay? Emergency scenarios training, this one is reporting techniques, right? For safely handling the emergency, right? So if you're a cabin crew, how would you report it to the front? And if you're a ground technician, if you've seen something, how you report it up to air traffic as well as the pilots, and vice versa. The whole idea is to go through various situations so we practice, and you will role play different roles, like you're now the fire chief, you're now the air traffic controller, you're now the captain, you're now the chief cabin attendant. What you would say to each other, and we'll just go through such communication methodology as well as practice for you to build the confidence of what you expect to hear or expect to say. And then there is a system of which you can use very, very clear descriptive words, and to say it in such a manner that you use as little words as possible to make your message clear. Okay. And non-normal operation communication training, usually it's more for building an awareness of what actually needs to be said in such situations. Then with that, you now have, how you say, techniques in your back pocket to be able to pull out. And we're not expecting these situations to happen often, but when it does, at least you know you're confident and ready for it. Okay? Right, and Rachel will be covering another segment a lot more on the soft skills development. Essentially, what we're trying to use is the mindfulness at your workplace to be aware of where you're at. Part of the mindfulness is not only the awareness of where you're at, but the self-awareness of yourself, where you can understand where your stress triggers may be, your strengths, your weaknesses, areas that you yourself were not so aware of under pressure. And then from then on, you'll be able to recognize when you're under pressure, and it'll give you strategies. As you go through all the scenario-based training, we will be observing your behavior. We observe how you react under stress. Different people have different reactions. Generally, it's fight or flight. Fight meaning you challenge it, you go and face it up front. Flight is you avoid it and you try to basically distance yourself from the problem. Yeah, things like that. And we should give you self-regulation strategies and growth mindset in terms of not being afraid of the situation that you have to face, and being able to be adequately mentally prepared for it. And that's where the mental rehearsal comes in, for you to prepare yourself that, okay, when this happens, I'll go through step 1, 2, 3. I will have a strategy in place on how I'll do this. And most important, to be able to communicate what you're thinking, the strategies that you've gone through, and what you'll be using. The training process we expect to go through is that there will be an orientation phase where when all the students come together, we describe the nature of this course. We'll spend time to get to know you. We'll spend time to also let you be familiarized on what's going to happen through the course. And also the training material that you'll be able to have. There'll be initial assessment that whilst we go through with you on the very first ones is to understand where you are at various levels. Some easy practice exercises so that, it's more to understand how to group you all into the right groups to have the best outcomes for your training. Thereafter, when I say customized training plan, it is more about the attention space and the type of exercises and scenarios we're giving for different groups. Well, it's no point to give the more basic group a very, very complicated exercise of which you cannot follow or the rest of the team cannot. Or the rest of the class, some are benefiting and some are not benefiting from it. So the idea is to be able to create equal benefit for all different levels and standards within the class. And students will complete some core coursework, and this one would be required in terms of the aviation terminology quizzes and tests and so on and so forth. The core coursework itself is mainly participation based. It will require you to use a lot of the scenario-based role-playing and the rate at which you participate. Right? The ongoing assessments tied to the coursework will be quizzes and assessments to track how are you progressing and understanding each stage so that you'll be ready for the next scenarios or the next segments that we'll be covering. So we might cover all ground related and then some air related, and then we will cover the non-normal situations related. Okay. The simulation training is actually embedded within all of it, and that will be the scenario-based training, which is putting you into real-world scenarios. And last but not least, you'll always be required a final assessment on your knowledge, a mock testing, as well as a scenario we'll run to be able to see how smooth you are in being able to communicate your intentions, to be able to understand or even pass messages to different players or different roles and different departments and so on and so forth. So essentially that will give you a very broad overview of what you'll be expected to go through, but it's a very holistic type of a program that takes care of not only your ability, your knowledge, as well as practice, confidence, and also the soft skill side of it is to help you understand where you are for yourself and give you strategies for you to fix the areas that you're not very strong in. So at the end, the desired outcomes, at the end when you finish this course, like we mentioned, is to speak aviation English clearly, not just English, but aviation English, English to be used in the aviation context, okay? For those that are working to require to understand air traffic control communications, mainly in the pilots, even the ground staff, to use aviation English in abnormal situations for all the different groups. I think this is one of the biggest takeaway for everyone. And last but not least, for individuals, through this program, you can apply the knowledge you have from the self-awareness of your strengths and weaknesses to bring it outside to your daily life as well, and in your work life if you are not in the aviation industry. So this is something that is transferable skills that can be used and developed after going through such a program with us. So basically, I've come to the end of the description of the program. We might be able to look at these once we have gotten a sufficient number of queries as well as people who may want to put questions to us. Please.
好，多謝 Captain Adrian 嘅分享啦。咁今日嘅分享就去到呢度啦，多謝大家嘅參與。